Welcome, ladies and gents. Please forgive my rough appearance. It's been an extremely busy week. Earlier this week, I had a consultation with a client that reminded me about the power of stories and why it is important to not only share what we do in our careers, but also the struggles that we face. So here's a personal story that I want to share with y'all. The other day, I had an HVAC salesman come out to the house to give me a quote on a whole new HVAC system. Sorry, placing the horse before the cart. Let me start over and give you the backstory, just for context. We bought our home about 9 years ago while my wife was pregnant with my first son. It still had the original HVAC unit, which was made by Goodman. And at that point, I believe the unit was roughly about 15 to 16 years old. And honestly, it's been a trooper. We have it maintenance every year, and I have calendar reminders set to change the air filter consistently. Until about 2022, we had minimal to no problems at all. Starting in 2023, the unit began what I call its slow transition to the HVAC graveyard. It started making noises, not really cooling as well, a few blown capacitors. But we have a phenomenal HVAC guy that services houses throughout our neighborhood. His team has been patching it up every summer. Each year, my wife and I delayed making the inevitable decision to replace it. Now, in Georgia, we have bipolar weather. So 1 week it's like 90 plus degrees. The next week we're facing minus 30 degree weather. Somehow we made it work. This year was no exception. But my HVAC guy finally gave it to me straight. He explained that at some point, I needed to replace the unit. He could keep patching it up for me. But if he kept doing that for a couple more years, I'd end up paying the same amount as a new Goodman unit. And I was already coming pretty close to that price tag. Now, he didn't mind the business, but for my sake, he just had to be honest. So this began my long journey of getting multiple quotes for various units from various vendors. For those facing a similar situation in Georgia, the prices seem to range between $6,000 and $12,000, depending on the brand and unit features. Most salesmen kept telling me, it's not the unit brand, it's the installation. But I'm no fool. My old school Goodman unit was a tank. It was made back in the good old days when HVAC units were built to outlast me. But today, I'm sorry, things are just built a bit cheaper. So I'm talking to this HVAC salesman. We're chatting about this and that, the house, family, my job, politics. I just happen to mention that I'm a bankruptcy attorney, and his eyebrow does that infamous Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson raise. Then he asks me, so when would you recommend that someone file for bankruptcy? Pause. The question caught me off guard. Me? Well, if you know me, I never like to answer that question directly. There are usually two situations where I do recommend bankruptcy: foreclosure and garnishment. But everyone's situation is unique. So I explained I can give you legal advice and even assess your situation, but it's always up to the client to decide if bankruptcy is the right move. He shook his head to acknowledge my response, and then he opened up. He told me about his family and what he called some questionable business ventures. He was currently enrolled in a debt consolidation program, but his credit score had tanked, and he was shelling out money every month to the debt consolidation company. Honestly, he was simply exhausted. So I shared a few stories about business clients, means test exceptions, and various bankruptcy success stories. He was pretty overwhelmed, but in a good way, excitedly. He asked if I could quickly assess his situation. Of course, I couldn't say no. So I jumped in, reviewed his credit report, his pay stubs, tax returns, etc. Ironically, bankruptcy was actually a viable option and less expensive than the debt consolidation program. So he took my information and said that he was going to start the filing process with the firm. He laughed and said, ironically, I came to help you fight the heat, and now you're helping me fight my debt. The moral of the story? Always share your story. Someone could be stressed, feeling alone, or at their wit's end. You never know. You may be their lifeline. You can call it life lessons. You can call it your testimony. But you never really know who you can help simply by sharing your life story. I'm Harvey. Thanks for watching.